Good evening and welcome to a still damp Innsbruck for final number 2 of the Youth World Championships 2017. I'm Charlie Bosco. Very pleased to say that joining me this evening will be Jim Pope, who competed earlier on in the semi-finals. But before we bring you tonight's final, here's a quick look at the route setting team who set the boulders for it.
My name is Jackie Godoff, and I am a bit of a proto-historic climber and setter, and I'm still happy to be there because it's always for me something different. To meet new people, to be in a new place and to try to do new stuff. And especially here for the youth, I'm very happy to be in this huge comp, probably the bigger competition ever. My job here is to be theoretically a chief route setter of all the World Youth Championship. In practical, I'm just the lead and the lead of the bouldering team. We had to set here a lot of boulders, probably the highest number of boulder ever. We had to build 120 boulder in 8 days and a half with a team of 8 setters. And all in all, it was, I would say, pretty busy. Pretty busy and very interesting. Every route setting process is interesting because I think it's not only about the physical abilities, it's about also the diversity of people, diversity of movement, and also diversity of mind. All in all, it's more interesting than usually. It's totally different.
I'm Jörg Verhoeven. I've been living in Innsbruck for about 12-13 years, and I'm part of the route setting team for the Youth Worlds. We used a huge amount of volumes. The wall is very steep. It's not very. There's not a lot of slabs and like lower angles. It becomes interesting only if you put a lot of volumes. It's been very hard to set for youth, especially for Youth B. The problem is that some are fully grown and others are still tiny. So it's quite hard to set. And then we kind of realized they act totally different than our youth climbers. They have a totally different mentality than as World Cup climbers. They climb with instinct, with more like passion and less with logic. So as we've seen, there's been quite a lot of difference between a World Cup climber and a youth climber. For example, standing on the mat. In a World Cup, you can see climbers being on the mat for, I don't know, a minute, looking what has gone wrong in the previous try and what am I going to change that's going to work this time. And in youth, they fall down, they run to that choke back and they hop back on straight away. It's quite funny, but on the other hand, it's quite hard to set for us.
And Jim, you're competing in all 3 disciplines here in Innsbruck. How was it this morning in the semi-final?
Yeah, this morning was a really tough semi-final. Actually, just making the semi-final was pretty tough, and a lot of strong climbers didn't get through. I did 2 of the 4 boulders, which put me in 18th out of the 20 competitors. So normally to do a couple boulders in an international level event is like pretty good, but today it was set really hard.
And we've got an incredibly strong route setting team, as well as Jackie Godoff leading it, who's a veteran of IFSC and route setting in general. We've got Jörg Verhoeven, Kilian Fischhuber, Thomas Aletsky, really super strong team. What was the setting style like today?
The setting, it was good. There was good variety. We had a couple jumps, we had some slabs. It wasn't just all suited to one style of climbing. There was lots of volumes because the wall's pretty steep and there isn't much vertical stuff. They've got to really use the volumes to kind of actually allow for some different climbing angles.
And there you can see the wall here in Innsbruck. As Jim mentioned, not much in the way of slabs. There's a couple of bits that are pretty much plumb vertical, but that's it. So there we see, starting list for the women. 6 women appearing this evening, 7 men. Maya Madeira, Johanna Holdfeldt, Julia Pantelieva, Ada Kups, Claire Burfiend and Laura Stockler. 7 men, we had a tie in the semi-final. And there you see it, Gianluca Posch. He will climb on his own, we've been told. So he will have the full support of the crowd. He'll be on his own. Baptist Omets will follow him, followed by Kai Leitner, Leo Avazu, Yoshiyuki Ogata, Yannick Floe and Meiichi Narasaki. Some pretty meaty climbers in there, even by World Cup standards, let alone youth competitions. And this is the oldest category of climber that's represented here in Innsbruck. This is climbers born in and this is just the observation period. Remember that for the finals, the climbers have an observation period, 2 minutes per boulder. Jim, we were out on the mats a second ago. Again, interesting set of boulders for the climbers.
Yeah, and also when the climbers are viewing their problems, it's interesting to watch who's speaking to each other. You know, we've got the 2 Japanese guys who they'll obviously speak to each other, and then depending on how many languages you can speak, it can be pretty tough sometimes. Sometimes you're left by yourself to figure out the beta on the blocks. That was pretty visible in Munich when Jan was the only German in the final and everyone else was either Japanese or Korean, so I think, but that still played, he still managed to work out the boulders fine enough.
Yeah, seemed to work for him.
Yeah.
Maybe observation's overrated. Interesting one as well. I mean, you'd have thought speaking English generally would cover you for most situations, but as you say, yeah, in Munich, Jan had no one to chat to, he was all on his lonesome. Just by Japanese standards, not the highest concentration of athletes in the final, just 2 for them in the men's competition today.
Yeah.
At times, particularly in Tokyo earlier this year, and I think it was Nanjing was the other one. It was extraordinary density, particularly of male Japanese climbers.
Yeah. And in Munich as well, 4 out of the 6 climbers being Japanese. It's pretty crazy entering a final and your nation's guaranteed a medal, even if nobody climbed.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, if they just drew it at random, you'd still get a medal.
Yeah.
So the climbers ushered back in. We are due to start pretty much now. It's pretty much bang on 8 o'clock, and I feel like I've been commentating on rain as much as climbing these past couple of days in Innsbruck, but right now we've got a steady drizzle, I would say. It's been heavier than this for sure. We've also had periods where it has been dry. Today was forecast to be the worst day. Tomorrow pretty bad in the morning still, but by the time we start our live coverage tomorrow late afternoon, we're expecting it to be relatively dry, but you can see there in the lights of the stage the rain now falling, and autumn arriving here in Europe. 8 o'clock is already almost night time. The wall looking amazing. And have you found this amazing Kletterzentrum? You've been here a while in Innsbruck.
Yeah, I've been in Innsbruck for the last month training for the World Cups and the World Youth Championships. It's been really good to have such a top-notch facility to train on. You know, like a lot of money's been spent into it, and it's got, well, just looking at the holds, so around €1 million been spent on holds alone, which is incredible. And then they've got such a strong setting team just at the wall, so there's like great lead routes, great boulders, everything's for training. And for training for competitions, it's definitely the place to be in the world at the moment.
It's a pretty unbelievable facility. It's actually the first time I'd been when we came for this event. I think like most people, your jaw hits the floor when you first see it.
Yeah.
As you say, the quality of the holds and the setting, and you can see that in this Youth World Championship. I think the bouldering team have used 1,000 holds in the course of setting the boulders. Yeah. It's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, really big job.
Be interesting to see whether it's maybe a few years too early for Team Austria in this Olympics, but certainly the future for Austrian climbing is bright. We shall see.
Yeah.
So Jan-Luca Posch, he's out. He'll climb on his own. 19-year-old climber from Imst. It's just down the road. Well known, of course, for having lead World Cups. We had one there in 2016. Not been back in 2017. Not sure how well the new 6 minutes in the finals would go in Imst. I think you'd be about a third of the way up. It's the biggest comp wall I've ever seen. So if you're just tuning in, we're live in Innsbruck. This is the Junior Boulder Final. This is the oldest category represented at the Youth World Championships. Climbers born in 98 or 99, and Jan-Luca Posch will climb on his own because we had a tie in the men's competition earlier on in the semi-final. That meant 7 climbers came through into this evening's final. So, first boulder, tricky start.
Yeah, there's two pieces of tape on either volume there. Both, from looking at the boulders earlier on, we can tell both start handholds and footholds are pretty slopey. I think just pulling on and getting established is pretty difficult, but he's making good progress over to the bonus.
Yeah, really nicely done. When we first looked at it, wondering exactly how you do that move over to the left, and that's how you do it, hands off and just drift over. It looked very casual.
Little foot slip there.
Yes, no gimme from there on out. Quite a hard one, I'd imagine, to walk out and you're full of adrenaline. You want to just go and crush something, and the first thing you've got to do is just compose yourself.
Tricky slab.
Yeah.
And the setters were saying when we were having a chat to them that this boulder would have been set in 35-degree temperatures several weeks ago, so they're a little bit worried that these volumes may be a bit grippier now. We'll see how the athletes find it.
Yeah, conditions actually not bad now, despite all the rain. It's not especially humid.
No.
By any measure.
No, it's really
conditions
good.
Pretty good.
Temperatures dropped quite a few degrees, and actually I bet the friction feels really good on these. It'll be interesting to see how they warm up over the night. Maybe hopefully it stays good for the climbers.
So Gianluca Posch, he's already used half his time. 10th in Guangzhou in 2016 in the last Youth World Championships just 10 months ago. Already guaranteed to beat that. We haven't seen him venture onto the top half of this boulder just yet. So that's how you do the move. He is tall, we should point out. Makes life slightly easier.
See how some of the shorter climbers fare getting across that traverse.
Yeah, it seems to have been a debate we've been having a lot recently about easier for tall and small, maybe after Jan Hoyer in Munich.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it if you don't know the incident I'm referring to, but perhaps that move initially perhaps slightly easier for the tall.
Whoa, just slipping on the arete there.
I think the top moves could suit a tall climber on this boulder as well.
Yeah, the foothold, as you can see, is quite low, even though it's very big. It's not that high, and reaching up to the top hold could be tough if you're smaller.
So he's got 50 seconds left on the clock. 4 minutes flat.
Should be enough time for one more go.
Yeah, one thing, he won't be burning too much energy.
No, that's for sure.
It's a really nice move to watch. Jackie Godoff, legend of the route setting and climbing game, is our chief route setter here in Innsbruck, and he's all about the moves, all about the movement. You can see it there, really nice. Just drift over to the left. Now we might get a chance for a look at the upper section. That volume's clearly quite tenuous. He's been on top of it a couple of times. No joy. Heads back in. I'm not sure that was a matter of time either. I wonder if he'd had any more time, whether he would have had any more joy. It looked like one of those moves he just wasn't getting on with.
Yeah. Next up we have Baptiste Metz from Switzerland and Maya Madeira from the United States of America.
So first chance to have a look at women's one. Baptiste, good to see him back. We haven't seen that much of him in 2017 on the IFSC streams. We saw a lot more of him in 2016, 4 semis for him that year, but not quite hit those heights this time round. Been doing well in the European Cup, so Maya's on to women's one.
Women's one's a similar style to the men. We've got mantle up onto this big volume that you can see now, and then tricky traverse across to that crimp where the bonus sign is, and then tough move up to the top hold. And I think the match could be pretty tricky on that top hold as well.
Yes, no push over at the start either. It's a pretty good volume. You can see there the fact she can get her hands off, but getting onto it and getting onto a position where it becomes a good volume, it's actually quite tricky. Very wisely takes the chalk bag. I can tell you, by the way, Baptiste Metz, he's still on the mats. No progress as yet on men's one either. As ever, with the IFSC, you can get in touch via social media, hashtag IFSC YWCH Youth World Championships. Do correct me if I say our normal World Cup hashtag. It is a new hashtag for this event, IFSC YWCH. And a good start from Maya.
Really close. Whoa.
Yeah, none of this wall here in Innsbruck is a slab, is it? This section that Baptiste is on, it looks like a slab. It's actually not. It's plumb vertical.
Making good progress here. There it is.
Skips out the dual texture hold and goes straight to the top. Nice work from him.
Really nice.
2 minutes to spare as well. So Maya Madeira pulls back on. We'll just confirm how many attempts that was for Baptiste. Second go he got that Baptiste Summits.
He'll be happy with that. It's always really nice to come out and get your first boulder done relatively quickly. Leaves you in a good mindset for the rest of the boulders.
Maya got a real fight on her hands here. We saw her get to this stage earlier, but as I said, it's not a slab that. From this angle, it kind of looks like a slab, partly because it's surrounded by such steep ground, but it's not at all. It's plumb vertical. She's going for a tiny crimp. There it is. It's a bonus hold.
Oh, stops herself on the volume. Nice.
So she's going for another small hole. It's not that huge black hole that's just obscuring it. There it is. There's a hole she's going for. That top is for men's 3, those 2 big black volumes pressed together.
There's actually nothing on that top hold. It's a thumb catch upside down. So for the climber to match it, they need to be just waiting on the feet, and their hands won't actually be doing anything at all.
It's a pretty tough start for both the men and the women, isn't it?
Yeah. 8 seconds left, and she's going back inside.
That's a bit of a heartbreaker for Maya. She was so close. Perhaps with an eye on the time, just abandoned the slow and steady approach and just went for it. And she wasn't far off. Kite Leitner gets a warm welcome, as you'd expect. Good lead climber and boulderer.
One of 3 American climbers in tonight's final.
He seems to climb well in Austria, actually. Made the semi-finals in Imps Lead World Cup a couple of years ago, 2015. Definitely a man to keep a very close eye on. Becoming increasingly well known.
Oh, Kai can reach the bonus hold with his hand still on the start hold there. Absolutely huge ape index.
He's one of those guys, hard to believe he's a climber when you meet him. He's just massive, Kai Leitner.
Yeah.
So, Johanna Holfeldt
gets the bonus on her first try.
Yeah, less than a minute elapsed. Both climbers doing well. Kai just creeping up. You can see him in the background. Johanna lining it up. He's got plenty of time. She's made a lot more progress in that first minute than Maya did. He's going to have time if this attempt doesn't work out. And it doesn't work out for Kai. You see him there, left of your screen.
Didn't quite have the right body position to go up to that top hold. There you can see just how bad that top hold is on the female climb.
It's not really a hold, is it? It's kind of an arbitrary point to finish a boulder. 4 tops for Johanna in the semi. And it's a top early on in the final. Great start from her. Superb start. 2:15 left on the clock. Here we were talking about how Kai should find the start relatively easy. Bit of a strange way to start the boulder, actually. He kind of kicked his feet rather than placing them. Underway now. Do you think it makes it harder having the slab out first?
I think when the setters are setting, once they've set the boulders, they also think about the order of which they want to give them to the climbers, and generally they want some of the more physical boulders to come out last, just to test how hard the climbers have been training, whether they still have the fitness to do the hard moves and pull just as hard as at the start, at the end of their round. So I think quite often the slab or the less physical climbs will be first, so the harder ones test them and their fitness later on.
That will reassure lots of people out there who could maybe do with a tiny bit more flexibility. Kai grabbing his knee, trying to pull his foot onto the hold.
Yeah, sometimes being tall can't help, isn't the most useful. Although he got himself up there on his first attempt, I'm sure he'll be able to do it again. Just under a minute left on the clock, so he might have to start going a little bit quicker, but
I think this is probably the only move on the boulder where his height will count against him.
whoa.
That doesn't look like the way
No.
to do it. It's just one of those, you've got to keep your balance all the way through it. But he's not taking anything out of him physically, as we said earlier, so he can afford to keep trying. It's, as we said on the last attempt as well, a bit of a strange start from him.
Just losing his edge there.
Doesn't look like a boulder that's going to respond well to any sort of dynamic movement, really.
Come on, Kai.
Come on, Kai. 15 seconds to go. He's going to need to climb very fast from here. You know, he's just had a quick glance at the clock. He's got one just to his left as well.
Oh, and he sticks it. Come on.
That time the dynamic move works.
Whoa.
He just slips off. Timeout for Kai Leitner. Looked slightly frustrated. Quick look at the results there. So Baptiste Omet's the only man with the top so far. Got it on his second go. And in the women's competition, Johanna Holfelt, top for her as well. And it was a flash. Perfect start to the final. If you're just tuning in, Charlie Bosco here with Jim Pope, at Pope on a Rope. Check him out on Instagram. I was giving you some respect in the semi-final as well for your 7C on site above the deep water in Lake Garda a few days ago.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. I definitely feel more comfortable close to the ground, or not above water.
It was a bit of industrial language, not suitable for the live stream floating down. I seem to remember when you were looking at the jump.
Yeah.
So first look here at Yulia Pantelieva.
Leo Avizu making good work, getting to the bonus on his first try.
Yeah, it's a climbing family, the Avizus.
Sporting a French haircut.
Yeah, taste is a very personal thing. Not quite there on that first attempt, but he doesn't look far off. Yulia not wasting any time. On to women's one. Yeah, both tricky technical starts for the climbers. As you said, the route setters sometimes like to get the less physical one out of the way. Personally, as an observer, I think it'd be hard to try and get rid of that adrenaline of being in a final and coming out in front of a crowd and then doing something so precise. I'd kind of rather pull the holds off the wall for the first boulder, but the route setters know what they're doing.
I don't think the slabs are always the most interesting boulders to watch, so from a spectator's point of view as well, it's probably nicer to finish off with the showcase boulder that if it's all coming down to the last boulder for who's going to win, it's definitely more interesting when it's a bit burlier, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point you make. Yulia Pantelieva just about managed to stay on as that right foot came back down. It comes from Ekaterinburg, where Dmitry Sharafutunov's from. There must be something in the water. And now she's lining it up for the top. Right foot's in place. You just somehow got to keep your hips directly above your feet there. Any sort of movement away from the wall, you're in trouble. So, Leo Avizu, is close on men's one.
Interesting to see that he's climbing through the lower section, which most of the other climbers have found harder, and struggling on the top part there. Shows that it's hard all the way through.
He flashed the bonus hold, by the way. As climbers speak for getting it first time. As ever, the climbers are divided most importantly by how many tops they get, and if they're still tied, it comes down to attempts. And the next way to separate them is how many bonus holes they got. If they're still tied on that, it's how many attempts those bonuses got. So we've seen some tied scored already, such as in the men's semi-final, so it can be done, but generally we get the climbers separated. But all the men so far have got the bonus hole on the first attempt on the first boulder. This This looks more promising from Julius. Back up there. Again, moving a bit quicker than we've seen some of the climbers doing it.
Nice.
But it works perfectly. 25 seconds to go. No, I think Leo's had enough of that one. So just a one top so far. I have to say, it looked, when he did it, pretty in his comfort zone, Baptiste Omets. Top as well from Johanna Holfeldt and Julia Pantelieva in the women's competition. Maya Madeira, bonus for her. Top for Baptiste Omets there, you see it, got it on his second go. Go ahead.
Yoshiyuki's had a really good season. We saw him in the finals at the Boulder World Cup in Munich, and also showing he's a good, not just in boulder, but he can also lead climb. He was in the final of the Lead World Cup in Arco last weekend.
Yeah, of course, won the World Games in Poland.
Yeah.
Serious contender in senior World Cups, and absolutely someone that can win this competition tonight. He's out onto men's one.
Definitely. Flashes to the bonus.
Yeah, so all the climbers in the men's competition have got the bonus on their first go. That moves to the left. So far, not causing too many problems. They're reading it well and executing it well as well. That's a lot of wells. Now he heads out right. This is a very promising start from him.
Made light work of that.
Certainly did. Perfect start. Yoshiyuki Ogata, as I say. A serious contender in senior events. He's here to win tonight. So that's 5 male climbers already been and gone. Yeah, was first time for him, officially.
Just going a little bit too quickly to that bonus there.
There it is. It's a tiny hold.
Really small.
It's kind of hard to believe when you look at that huge section of wall that they've got to get using only that to then this thumb push underneath. It's such a time-consuming boulder. It's not taking much in the way of energy, but it takes a lot of time. You haven't got time for a lot of attempts on this boulder. So Ida pulls back on, 17-year-old from Krakow in Poland. Got some decent climbers, Poland.
Especially speed climbers.
Yeah, especially speed climbers.
Nearly sticking that bonus.
Yeah, it looked like that right foot could have done with being a bit more secure before she committed. She couldn't quite figure out how to get the weight off it to reposition it.
Yeah.
Slightly surreal music choice you might be able to hear for the DJ. They're going a bit left field. He's been at work all day today. So she pulls back on. No bonus for her just yet. All the other climbers, including Maya, who didn't get the successful top, did get the bonus, and I think this one looks a bit more promising.
Ooh.
She's close.
1 minute left.
Yeah, maybe just needs to slow down, but I know it's hard to do. She seems to be able to get standing, and then it's just moving right. It's proving the crux, so 45 seconds left for her to do something about it. She's actually entered a couple of the Senior World Cups already this year. 49th in Meiringen and 35th in Munich, so we haven't seen her on our live stream, but she has been there and getting closer. Now in a final, juniors here, the World Youth Championship in Innsbruck 2017. It's only 10 months on from Guangzhou.
This looks good. Oh, that really close on that attempt.
Again, it's just that last move where she's just firing up to it. She needs to ease up.
Yeah. I think most of the other climbers matched feet on that block's volume and slowly teetered across. It looked like she was going, her approach was a bit too fast. But next up we have Yannick Floer from Germany and Claire Burfine from the USA.
Yeah, Claire looked extremely impressive in the semi-finals. One of the early climbers to get a clean sweep of 4 tops. We ended up with 9 climbers in that female semi-final with 4 tops.
Yannick also had a really good qualification and semi-round, and he's been climbing really well this season too. He made the semi-finals at the Boulder World Cup in Munich on home turf, and he's also been going really well outdoors. He got his first 8C plus in a day not that long ago after the Lead World Cup in Briançon.
Yeah, as you say, he was 17th in Munich. Also a speed climber, albeit it's not his main discipline. And you can see him bottom right of your screen. Climbing well, absolutely a contender for this competition. Whoa. Here. Made the World Games final back in July. She was 8th there. Does that really nicely. Had to be precise, had to be quick, stepping that right foot out. Actually did some live streaming as well in Guangzhou last year. This year, she's on the wall in the final. She's just trying to figure out how to use that. She's quite tall, Claire.
I think that bonus hold, although it's small, it's pretty in cut, and it's hard to leave it. It's quite easy to get sucked onto just staying on that left hand. It's really hard to weight the feet and stand up for that top hold.
Yeah, you can see that. She took her left hand off, so she can clearly hold that position without the left hand, but yeah, hard to leave a good hold behind. She's close.
Just coming shy.
Already 2 minutes gone on her attempt. It's amazing how long that boulder's taking. Just interestingly, Yannick, he was 25th in the Youth A Boulder in Guangzhou last year. Here he is in juniors in the final. Rapid progress, as you mentioned. So 1:30. Just has a look at the clock. That one just his left, if you're wondering why he's looking to the one at the far end of the stage, that one's just hidden when you're on those holds. To be able to see it just then as he pokes around the arete. The one over on the other side, just a bit more visible. And this does look hopeful.
Here he goes.
So the climber's not really using that dual texture, just kind of bumping through it. And it's a top for Yannick. Nice work, minute left for Claire.
I believe that was his second attempt, which will bump him up into first place. Oh no, Yoshiyuki topped on his first try, so second place.
Yeah, he's second place for him. Third place, it was his fourth attempt, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, we were concentrating on Clay. Must have burned through a lot of attempts.
Yeah,
before we saw
that first move.
Yeah.
Bonus on his 4th try as well.
So seemingly the first climber who's been troubled by that move left. Claire, meanwhile, reaching up. Height and advantage right there, but she somehow needs to compress underneath that hold, and she doesn't quite manage it. Couldn't quite suss out the method. Got very close though. Right hand firmly on the top hold, just couldn't quite get the left to join it. And there we see it. Got the bonus hold on her first attempt. Moves her up into third. Laura Stuckler is out. Meiichi Narasaki is out. Even a bit like his brother was a sensation in 2016. Meiichi's been a bit like that in 2017. He started the season as brother of Tomoa.
Yeah.
And he's arguably looked better than his brother this year.
Switched around. Yeah. Tomoa's the brother of Meiichi.
I guess they're just taking in turns to have a good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, second in Vale in 2017. You might remember back in June. Feels a long time ago. I've got to say the Colorado sun feels a long time ago here in Innsbruck. Certainly wasn't wearing Gore-Tex and winter boots there. So Meiichi straight on with it. Another tall climber. A lot of tall climbers in this junior final. And he looks like he...
just slipping on that lower volume there.
Yeah, interesting. We haven't seen many climbers pausing on that dual texture, that second to last hold. They've just kind of bumped through on it, and he actually stopped.
I think it's a really bad hold. There's just a small strip of texture.
Yeah, Laura Stuckler, meanwhile, getting the home support. Impressive crowd again here in Innsbruck, given the weather. The window in the cafe at the Kletterzentrum once again proving popular as the place to watch from, and a lot of people congregated under the lead wall here, but the main area, which isn't sheltered at all, is still pretty full. Good effort.
A sea of umbrellas.
Yeah, a sea of umbrellas. It was the same in Arco last week, but it was because of the sunshine. How time has changed. So, Meichi back up. Will he just bump through again on this dual texture hold? It was as if the pause just stopped his momentum. No, he's going to try and use it. No, he's not. Ooh. Yeah, and again, he's really trying to use that hold rather than just pass it by. Laura Stuckler. Back up, half her time remaining. Ditto Meichi Narasaki. His brother, no doubt, watching with interest. Even at this early stage, there's been 3 tops on that boulder. You would imagine you probably need to get it done to feature on the podium, perhaps. It's very early to say, but with 3 climbers already topping it.
It's interesting, when we were speaking to the setters earlier on, Jackie reckoned he'd see 5 or 6 people topping this boulder, so actually maybe it's seeming more difficult than they imagined.
Yeah, Jackie was confident there'd be a lot of tops on it. Ditto the women's. Just over a minute left, the venue MC gets it fired up, and then we'll already be done with the first boulders here in the junior final in Innsbruck. Packed schedule here in the Youth World Championships. Laura Stuckler right now
trying to get something off the underside of that hanging slab there.
Yeah, it's quite clever. I think it just as she had to bring her hands up from by her knees to above her head, it just pushed her off the wall. And Meichi Narasaki looked like he was going to get the boulder on his first go, and then that seems to have been his best attempt.
Struggling with that sloper now. Sometimes being the last climber isn't the most useful. You know, those holds have been climbed on by 7 people before him, and there's a lot of chalk on those holds, and especially when it's a sloper, it can kind of get worse and worse throughout the competition.
So no top for either of those two. As I say, I really thought Meichi Narasaki wouldn't have too many problems with that, and the route set is just making some adjustments so that it's clear which boulder is which. And there you see it, Johanna Holfeld takes an early lead. She flashed the first boulder. Yulia Pantelieva, she's currently sitting in second. Berfind in third. Yoshiyuki Ogata, Baptiste Omets and Yannick Floe all topped boulder 1 in the men's competition. No joy for Meichi Narasaki, Loic Havazu, Kai Leitner, and this man right there, Jan-Luca Posch.
Poster boy of the competition. Let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, he's out on his own as the route setters work over to the left. They're just removing the big volume that the female climbers were trying to stand on right at the end of their first boulder. They're just taking that off so that it doesn't interfere with men's number 3, in case you're wondering what they're up to.
The setters were saying there's lots of different methods for doing this boulder here, the start sequence anyway, so it'll be interesting to see which climber takes which approach. Yanni's first attempt looking successful. He gets the bonus hold on his first try.
Yeah, and a lot of tall climbers here, so doubly interesting to see whether all the tall guys use the same method. He's having to work hard though. It doesn't necessarily look super physical in the lower section, but it's tougher than it looks, and then it does get powerful in the top half. This is an excellent start, though.
Whoa. Just holding that little Gaston.
I'm not quite sure how he stayed on there, but he did, and it's just as he's trying to reset his feet. It was almost as if he couldn't believe he'd stayed on. He's sitting on the mats now. He can't figure that one out. Let's have another look.
This board looks pretty physical as well, so having multiple attempts on this is gonna tire you out, and the setters will have had that in mind for the next boulders to come.
Yeah, men's 3 is a lot of compression involved, so they'll need a lot of power left over. You can't burn yourself out on this men's 2 and hope to recover. 2 minutes to go. You can see what it's taken out of him. He sat on the mats for a good 30 seconds, back up on his feet, still shaking out. Yeah, interesting boulder, this one. You can see on their right-hand side. So just to so you get your bearings, if you ever visit here, the main Kletterzentrum is on the left there, the left-hand end of the wall. And this right-hand section of the outdoor wall actually is quite susceptible to the rain. Not especially aesthetic looking, but very effective plastic sheet immediately to the right. And you can see just down and right of the clock, Eddie, the IFSC photographer. Perfect angle to shoot men's 2. Minute left.
Here we go.
Crowd implored to give a bit more. So straight back to the bonus, seemingly untroubled by the early moves.
You can see in his facial expressions just how hard he's trying. That squadra holds really slopey on the underside. It's definitely tough to stay on.
And again, the feet stay on.
Whoa.
Just trying to go across through the right hand. It's such a physical section of moves. And it's not worth burning any more energy for him.
Even once you get that Gaston on the bottom of the top volume, which he got, it looks like a really hard move up to the top. You've got your right hand low down, and you've got to do a real big move with the left hand up to that top hold. So I don't think the climb's over from there.
So here comes Baptiste Omets. Maya will be out as well. Onto women's 2. Got the bonus on her second go on women's number 1. It's our first chance to have a good look at women's 2. Baptiste Omets. Good start for him on men's 1. Got it second go. Only Yoshiyuki Ogata could do better. He got it first go. Baptiste just take his time. Remember, the climbers have had an observation period. We just caught the end of it.
Maya sticks the double dyno. There's another one to come.
Yep. Fatak holds there the dual texture that she started with the coordination move with the left hand.
Come on.
And almost sticks a jump.
Didn't quite get the right thumb on the thumb catch underneath. I think that's pretty essential for controlling that swing.
Baptiste, that's just pure horsepower. Reaches through, holds the crimp.
Come on.
Now it's just trying to get some force through that right foot.
Whoa. I wasn't expecting that.
No.
That actually looks like it could be. It would definitely put you in a better position to do the top move if you had that with your left hand, but it looks like a real tough move to get that.
Certainly looked possible though.
Whoa,
It
yeah.
looked as if he slightly missed the hold. If he'd actually hit it perfectly, he might just stuck that. I think that's got some promise. Be interested to see whether he tries that one again. So coordination move here for Maya. There you go, that's how you do it.
Sticks it again.
Yeah, she's got that absolutely dialed already. Just over half her time remaining. And she was very close on this move last time. She lines it up. And And again, looks solid on it, and just as the swing took her away from the wall, she was off. But when she initially landed it, it looked good. Baptiste, again thinking about it, 4 tops for him in the semi-final. As for all the male climbers and all the female climbers, there's a lot of tops in the semi-final earlier on. He also got 4 in the qualifiers, Baptiste.
Can he get 4 again tonight?
Well, interestingly enough, even at this stage, it would guarantee him a medal.
Yeah.
If he tops every boulder, doesn't matter what anyone else does.
Here we go, come on.
Mai lining up the jump again. Initially sticks it and again just peels off.
That right hand just ripped off there.
Yeah, the route setters have put an additional bolt on hold onto that volume. Now,
there we go.
Yeah, now she sticks it. The crowd enjoyed that. She's heading up to a small crimp below the top volume. You can just see it, half moon shaped.
She's got to make enough space for her heel on the handhold there. Oh, just coming shy of that next crimp.
And Baptiste as well, struggling on men's 2. Let's have another look at the jump. Just about made it, really nicely done. Yeah, just the right hand was just absolutely perfectly positioned. It was just enough to kill the swing. So both of the first male climbers heading off the stage looking like they've had a workout on men's 2.
Yeah.
There's Kai Leitner. Will he find a different method? 3rd tall climber in a row. Johanna Holfeldt. As I say, that dual texture volume, she just had her left hand on there. That's come all the way from Iran. Fatak holds.
She's managed to skip out the double dyno by reaching left hand over there.
She has, yeah, and she goes back to that dual texture volume I just mentioned.
Will she jump from this position or go left hand back down to the start hold? The setter said it's much harder to jump from these 2 volumes rather than left hand down on the arete.
Yeah, she's quite a long way short on the jump. Perhaps different method required.
Kai looking very big in a small space.
He's kind of tying himself in knots, isn't he?
Yeah.
He needs to find a way to release himself.
Here we go.
As you say, this is the disadvantage of being tall. It's just trying to fit yourself in there. Especially for your junior climber, he's such a big guy, Kai Leitner. So Johanna, once again lining up the jump, going from the 2 volumes instead of with a hand on down in the arete, and that's much closer. More than half the time remaining. Kai looking at another attempt, just keeping an eye on him on the mats. He's still down on the mat, both climbers on the mats. Yeah, it was funny actually. Came up in conversation with Kai that someone had been mugged. Not that that's very funny. And Kai actually said, "Yeah, I don't really worry about that."
No.
I guess when you're 6'2" and built like that, it's not really something you need to worry about.
Definitely not. Whoa.
Again, tries a different method. Yeah, he wouldn't make the best mugging victim, Kai Leitner. I think he knows it. Not something he gets too stressed about. So Johanna lining it up. Again, looking, just trying to pick out an extra detail that might just
jump.
Yeah, just it's as if she's looking for something that might just make the difference. And you were saying the route setters think that getting a hand down left might help. Kai, meanwhile, really struggling to kind of untangle himself from this start position. So no tops yet on either the men's or women's two. This is a really unusual sequence from Kai.
There we go. Come on, Kai.
Yeah, now it works. Now he's out from under the compression. Height, you would think, possibly less of a disadvantage now. And now maybe even working to his advantage. So he's on to the bonus. Just. Nice. Now he gets himself in position. The crowd cheered. They enjoyed that.
Nicely done.
Johanna Holdfeld, by the way, she's just had another attempt. She's back on the mats. And so is Kai.
Tried a different method there.
Yeah, shouldn't be taking too much out of the climbers, this one, physically, the women.
Yeah, whoa, really close to sticking that double jump. I'm not sure why she's changed her method after doing it successfully the first 2 times. So Johanna Hohlfeld still in first place, followed by Lulia Pentaleva and Maya Madeira.
Yeah, just 2 tops so far in the women's competition and only 3 in the men's. And these second boulders so far causing no end of problems.
Let's see what they can make of this.
Yeah, Leo Avazu back out. Yulia sizing up women's 2.
Leo's gone for the 1 trouser leg rolled up approach.
I assume that's a fashion statement. It could be some complicated beta involved in...
Yeah, a shin bar, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll find out.
Could be anything. We'll assume it's fashion based on the haircut. So, no trouble so far across to the bonus.
Oof.
Suddenly just cut loose.
Just fell off trying to get his left heel up there. I think the right hand hold's too slopey to move the left foot, actually. Need to keep it low on the volume. Whoa.
Different method again from Yulia. Didn't seem to either spot or like the look of the coordination move. Climbers had a joint observation, of course. They've all looked at the boulders together. She might just have read it differently or not quite fancy that coordination move. And again, she's not too far off on the jump. Interestingly, that no one's gone with that left hand on the arete like the route setters thought they would. That hold down on the left that you can use for the jump, that one that she's currently got her right hand on, it faces the wrong way for how you'd want it to face for the jump, but it's still, according to the route setters, a pretty useful way of doing it, and now she might try it.
Here we go.
So she will try with the left hand. Oof. And that was close. I have to say, watching it, you wouldn't believe that having the hand down and left is the way to go. It does look like it puts you in a worse position, but the route setters are sure it is slightly easier. So she shakes out. Takes the chalk bag and put it to good use, and again she'll keep the left hand low as she lines up the jump. And she's so close to holding that.
Just slipping off that right hand hold. We've not seen many of the girls brushing any holds, actually. I think that definitely come to an advantage, especially as more chalk's being left on those holds.
Yeah, she was literally millimeters short maybe with that right hand. She just had the tips of her fingers on it rather than the full pad. It sounds like a tiny detail, but it'll make all the difference. So she's using up the attempts here, but given that no one's topped the boulder, I suspect a top, regardless of attempts, will come in very handy in the final reckoning.
Low pulling on again. really smoothly through that bottom section.
Yeah, we saw Kai, perhaps due to his height, having to come up with some quite complicated method to get through that, but Leo, no trouble at all. Meanwhile, Julia sticks the dyno. She's got 30 seconds left. You wouldn't have thought time will be an issue. She just needs to get it right.
Ooh.
She's trying to figure out how to get her heel on. Although she's there, staying there is taking a lot of energy.
I think it's also really hard to weight that left hand. There's not a lot on that slope, so to put majority of your weight through it and get that right heel up is really tough.
Let's have another look. So that was the jump, absolutely spot on, and interestingly enough, even though she swung right out, when you watch the slow motion replay, she never really looked like she was going to fall. Hit the sweet spot perfectly.
So Yoshiyuki leading the competition in the male category so far. Let's see what he can make of this boulder.
Yeah, he's definitely coming in. I think he would have been a lot of people's favourite to win here tonight. Already won the World Games in Poland in the seniors. Let's have a look. Women's 2 again. Will she go from the 2 volumes or the left hand? There she goes, looking for that start hold. Almost got the jump first time.
Just missing that right hand hold.
There's Yoshiyuki down on the mats. Ida Cups also down, just about to pull on. I will keep you informed if we don't see it. Yoshiyuki, meanwhile, heading out left. Cracking start to the competition for him. Flashed boulder number 1. Got the bonus on number 2.
Looking pretty comfortable there.
There's Ida.
Ooh. That bonus hold really is bad.
So she tries some left hand low. Yeah, that jump is causing no end of problems. Compared to especially compared to the semi-final, very few tops here in the final. Just 2 in the women's competition, both on boulder 1, and 3 in the men's competition, again on boulder 1. So these second boulders stopping the climbers at this stage. Route setters might be getting slightly nervous when Yoshiyuki Ogata's struggling quite this much with number 2. So has another go at the jump, quite a long way short.
Yoshiyuki's back on his problem, back up to the bonus hold.
Here he is. He's staying in that position is so strenuous, so you can see him adjusting his feet. Next thing you just drop out because you've got to be kind of pushing away from the wall to get anything out of that volume.
Really hard to push away from the wall in that volume, especially there's no footholds on it. You're just smearing, so it's really easy for the feet to give way if they're not weighted properly.
Ida, she was 7th in the youth boulder in Guangzhou, steps up to juniors and walks into the final. Ooh. And almost stuck that jump. 50 seconds to go. Another couple of attempts, you'd imagine. Certainly one. I'm just watching her, seeing if she's going to try and conserve her energy. 35 seconds to go, she pulls on. Ditto Yoshiyuki Ogata.
Here he goes.
And again drops in, so You've got to be pulling away from that bonus hold to get anything out of it, but keeping the feet on is so hard.
Come on.
It's just such a strenuous position. Your biceps are exploding just watching him. This looks promising.
Whoa.
I was about to say, about to be timed out.
Up.
Time is up. He heads back in. Has a rueful look back up at it. So, second boulders remain unconquered in men's and women's competition.
And Yoshiyuki's still holding his first place position.
And in the women's, Johanna Holfeld leading the way. That flasher number 1 still doing the job for her. Yoshiyuki, his flasher number 1, still doing the job for him. Anybody that can top this boulder really does have an amazing chance here, especially if it's Yannick, because he got number 1. 3 climbers in the men's competition, they got number 1 done. And he is the last of them to attempt this one. Claire, meanwhile, she's back out. Women's 2. Eye of the Tiger now from the DJ.
Whoa, nearly stuck the jump there.
You can see the umbrellas here in Innsbruck. The rain's still coming down. It's light. The wall isn't being affected too badly. It's still hostile.
Whoa.
A hostile place to be. And these sort of moves just exhausting on the shoulders.
Yeah. There we go, looking good.
Yeah, really nice and smooth through that. It's one of those moves though, the bonus. Getting there's one thing, moving on's another.
Just got it. It's looking good. Come on, Yannick.
Claire, meanwhile, lining up for the jump. Both climbers at key points of their boulders. No joy for Claire.
Whoa.
And no joy for Yannick. Bit of an awkward fall, landed right on the bottom of his spine. They're not the softest mats either in the world here in Innsbruck. So Chort, it would seem from where Claire's brushing, just beginning to build up on those key holds. Same goes for the bonus in the men's competition. So already it's looking like top's going to be very precious here. Claire's got the coordination move, that Fatak volume with the left hand, dual textures. Only part of it is useful. The rest of it's utterly useless.
These new dual texture holds have been really used this season.
Yeah, they add a different dimension. We're seeing all sorts of new shapes as well. Some volumes here that only made their debut in Munich. The blocks holds.
Yep.
Is that right? Blocks,
Yeah, the blocks volumes.
Blocks volumes. We're seeing them for their second outing here in Innsbruck. So Yannick, you can just, and Claire at the same time sticking that swing of the jump, and the crowd loving it.
Let's see if she can be the first to get that heel up.
She tries to power straight through. Yeah, who needs a heel when you've got that much power?
Come on.
Claire Burford.
Can she match the top hold?
About to, you would think. I was about to say about to take control here in Innsbruck. That was so close. Let's have another look at her jump. You could see how hard she had to work. And instead of trying to match the right heel on the right hand, she just went straight through.
Managed to keep her foot low on that handhold.
I've just seen Yannick disappearing off the stage. I'm assuming that's because he doesn't want to try again rather than because he topped the boulder. Yep, no top for him. Claire, I think she knew that was the one. So just one male and one female climber left. Laura Stockler of Austria, Meiichi Narasaki of Japan in the men's competition. Here they come. Gives you some idea of the temperature here in Innsbruck. He's got his hoodie on still, so does Laura.
And Yannick came out in his down jacket. There was actually snow on the mountains here in Innsbruck today.
And you were saying some of the Thai team had never seen snow, they just couldn't believe their eyes.
Meichi pulling on.
So less than 4 minutes from now we will know whether anyone has successfully topped these second boulders. The route setters felt there were too many tops in the semi-finals. They certainly wouldn't be accused of repeating that in the finals. These moves here when he's trying to push out from the wall again, you'd think being tall a slight disadvantage perhaps. There's more to get into the wall.
Yeah.
Laura Stuckler just sizing it up. She's already had a look at the move. So interesting enough, Johanna Holfeld, who currently leads the competition, didn't get the bonus hold on this boulder.
That flash on block number 1 could be a game changer.
Could, yeah, we've seen it, especially in the semi-finals earlier on today. Attempts absolutely critical. And as you say, that flash could come in very nicely. It's hard to know at the early stage of the competition what sort of score you'll need. But yeah, she got a perfect start and it's still paying dividends right now.
Yeah, it's looking like a hard round so far. So maybe the next 2 boulders will be a bit tamer. We'll find out.
Really, really tricky one for the route setters because they set in 35-degree heat. The temperatures drop, I don't exaggerate when I say the temperatures drop 30 degrees. I mean, it is absolutely freezing here in Innsbruck. And they perhaps adjusted the boulders. They were adjusting them up until absolutely the last minute here.
Yep, it's been a really long day for the route setters as well. They've had to set 3 rounds. There was the junior male qualifiers, junior male semi-final this morning, followed by the Youth B semi-final, and then now the junior final. So it's been a long day.
Yeah, and they made some adjustments, as I say, last second. I think the first boulders they probably got just about right, but these second ones so far proving a bit too tricky. There's a minute 20 left for somebody to top one of these boulders. The semi-finals this morning, particularly the Youth B, seem to fly by.
Nearly sticking that crimp there.
The final here for the juniors taking a bit longer. All 4 minutes being used up pretty much every time. Laura lining up the jump. Oh, and she'd actually swung back in when she came off that time. 50 seconds to go. We see it again. She jumped, came all the way out, and it was actually on the way back in that she fell. Does she do the coordination move? She does. Looks solid on it.
Meichi pulling back on as well.
This time Laura makes it work. Will she try and get that heel up, or will she just power through?
Let's see.
I think she's going to try and just power through. Now she goes. That's so close. 10 seconds to go.
Getting really well here. Whoa! And he does it.
Meichi Narasaki, big top on men's 2.
The setters will definitely be feeling relieved that the boulder is possible.
Yeah, he got that with 2 seconds to spare, I think. Certainly been awarded the top. He didn't have long left. Had time for a quick pull-up, though.
Let's see how that changes the rankings.
Yeah, we'll just wait for the scores to come through. Well, he got it on his 5th go, so it leaves him still down in 4th. Meanwhile, in the women's competition, Johanna Holfeld, although she didn't get on at all with number 2, still leading the way. And there you see him, Meichi Narasaki. It took him a lot of attempts.
Bumped up into 4th place.
If only he'd got that men's 1 on that first attempt that looked so promising. He got close and just stalled on the second to last hold. So now we see men's 3. Gianluca Posch, he's back out. And what was women's 1 just to his left has had the key volume removed. Here he goes. So this boulder, we think, again, relatively simple after you've got this dynamic section dialed.
Sticks that move first try.
And there's 2 nice sweet spots, one on either side of that volume.
Yeah. That slope is really bad.
Okay, so now he goes with the right hand.
Needs to get left heel up, does that well. Now the tricky top move, jumping into the slot.
And you've got to be really accurate. You can see the volumes pushed together, so your target is very small. No problem at all.
Great flash there from Yanni.
Yeah, fantastic. Did it statically as well. Not at all easy to do. So for just about the first time this evening, we have someone finish well ahead of time. You can see that small slot he's aiming for. The route setter's intentionally closed off that volume so that you couldn't just lunge for it.
That flash has bumped him up into first place.
Yes.
Still with the rest of the field to go, we'll see how it changes.
Yeah, often you can see a flash like that and think, okay, well, everyone's going to have a pretty good go at this boulder, and then no one else gets anywhere near it. We shall see. Time will tell. Of course, he climbed on his own. 7 men in this evening's junior final here in Innsbruck. We're just coming in for work. Charlie Bosco here with Jim Pope alongside me. Jim climbed in the same age category in the semi-finals earlier on today. Watching the finals from the, well, I was going to say the comfort of the commentary box. Relative comfort.
At least we're out of the rain.
Yeah, just about.
Baptiste just missing the 2 dimples on that slope.
Yeah, that big volume there, the bonus hold, there is a sweet spot on either side of it, and Gianluca Poch hit them absolutely perfectly. You can see where the density of chalk is, gives you some indication. Well, meanwhile, women's 3. Interesting one. Maya's out on it.
Edging her way up that volume there, nearly onto the bonus. There we go.
So bonus secured for her. You can see there's 2 more volumes. Green one just above her right hand, and then the top. She has time and energy to compose herself. Baptiste, meanwhile, he's got on to the sweet spots on that volume. So from here, Gianluca Poch brought it home. Baptiste, what can he do? I'll keep an eye. We could be close to a double top here. Baptiste just misses the top. Maya, meanwhile, struggling to get her feet underneath her while locking out that shoulder. Now she seems to be in a better position. She's got her right hand on the top.
Can she match the top hold?
Yeah,
there
just needs to stay composed. She can match it.
That could bump her into first place, possibly.
Yeah, let's have a look as the score comes through. Second place.
Second place. Oh, second. That was on a second try. Okay.
Yeah, it was a second try. So as I said, Gianluca Poch pretty much cruised men's 3. Baptiste Omet's having a few more problems with it. Baptiste currently is sitting in 3rd. If he can do this, he'll be the first climber to have 2 tops in this evening's final. It's been a tough round for the men. Meiichi Narasaki, despite being the only climber to do number 2, is currently sitting in 5th place.
Baptiste sticks that bonus.
Yeah, now he's really found that sweet spot. It's a terrible hold, that right.
And
that sloper on the right.
Those footholds, they've been screwed on diagonally. You really have to watch how you position them and also how you're weighting them so they're not popping off. 30 seconds left. Not sure there'll be enough time to... We'll see.
Yeah, they're relatively quick moves low down. It's going to be tight for time. It's no pushover at the top, and it's just a slip, and that'll almost certainly time him out. I guess he might as well. He's already got the bonus. He might as well have another go, but he's going to have to climb like lightning, and another slip. So,
good recovery there.
Yeah, really good recovery, but Gianluca Posch
styled that one out.
Sit there, yeah, Johanna Holfeldt holding on to that lead thanks to that flash. Gianluca Posch takes the lead thanks to that flash. Yoshiyuki Ogata couldn't get number 2 done, but Meiichi Narasaki's compatriot could. Here is Kai Leitner.
Johanna Holfeldt making light work of this lower section. Easily up to the bonus.
Plenty of time left for both these climbers, but Johanna Holfeldt, who came onto this boulder leading the competition, doesn't seem to need it, getting stuck straight in.
Kai statics across to the bonus there, didn't even need to jump.
Yeah, he's just climbed out of our shot. I'll keep you up to date.
He's got his left heel onto the bonus. There we go.
Kai.
Can he get the top hold?
Looking in control up until now. Reaches through the right hand.
Just fumbles.
Yeah, he was almost too calm.
Yeah.
Johanna Holfeldt, meanwhile, the 18-year-old from Dresden. Just squirming. We've seen a couple of moves like this in the route setters. There's one earlier on in the women's semi-final. It's not the most dignified set of moves I've ever seen. And she was just trying to find a way to do it.
Kai back to the bonus. Will he fumble the crack again?
Steady on. So, Kai lining it up. He tickled it with his fingertips last time. That's how you do it. The toe hook, the route setters mentioned, might be the way to do it. You can see Kai kicking himself for not figuring that one out on the first attempt. Got the job done. I think if he has a look over to his left, you'll see the scoreboard. He might not be quite so disappointed because it's not seeing a lot of action. Yeah, Baptiste Omets couldn't do it. Gianluca Posch got it first go, but Kai, that was his 3rd attempt. Gets it done. Moves him up to 4th place, ahead of Yannick Floe. Johanna Holfeldt, 1 minute 20 to go. Came onto this boulder, as I say, holding the lead. That flash of number 1, still doing the business for her.
Really tricky to shift their weight across onto that next hold.
She's got a minute left to become the first climber in this final with 2 tops. Just slipped with the foot. It looked as if she might actually be able to recover it, but not quite. Jim Pope next to me. I'm told from our social media people getting some love on Twitter. Good to hear it. Hashtag IFSC YWCH Youth World Championship if you'd like to get in touch. So Johanna Holfeldt, she's back on. She's so close to this boulder. 2 tops would really put her in a commanding position, especially after that flash of number 1. And she's just popping off. It's that right foot, just can't quite get it underneath her and get it to stick. She was close. We'll see it again. It's one of them where if there was just a little bolt on hold, it would transform that move, but there isn't. And we know from Maya's success that it can be done. She's got it on her second go. Leo is out.
He's rolled his trouser leg down.
Yeah, I think fashion's coming second to temperature regulation now. It's absolutely freezing here in Innsbruck. Even cool cats feel the cold. Not messing about. 20 seconds gone. He's already setting up for the dyno. Is he going to try and do it statically? I don't think so. Surely too far. He'll make it as small as he can. Julia Pantsaliva out as well. There she is. Women's 3. So that's the volume that we just saw Johanna Holfeldt trying to make her way onto. Leo, he rushed into that first attempt. Just slows the pace now. He hasn't got either of the first 2 boulders. He's got the bonus on both of them on his first go. He's now actually the only male climber in this final without a top as it stands. Came through in 4th place from the semi-final. Meanwhile, Julia Pantsaliva.
Whoa! Really impressive. Managed to control that swing.
And now looks composed. She's a real all-rounder, Julia. She's in Guangzhou last time out, 10 months ago, the previous World Championships in the junior category. This category, she was 14th in the boulder, 10th in the lead and 4th in the speed. She can do it all. And what a top would do for her here. Top the first boulder. Can she become the first climber in the women's competition to get 2 tops? Half her time elapsed. The right hand sticks. Saw Johanna Holfeldt get to this position as well.
She's just got to get her left foot up on and match that right hand.
You can see the frustration in her body language. Leo Avazu, there he is. He's back on again. So he hasn't got the bonus just yet. That is the bonus, that big, huge volume. This is another look at Julia earlier on.
Really impressive to hold that.
Yeah, extraordinary. She goes again. One thing that does seem to have been quite common in the boulders this evening is that they take a long time, and this one is no exception. Lots of moves, lots of possible body positions. And fatigue beginning to kick in. Leo pulls back on. Gianluca Posch's flash of this boulder looking more impressive as the minutes tick by. Leo trying to do it very dynamically. Not quite sure what he's missing.
Maybe he needs to roll his trouser leg back up.
It seemed to work earlier on. He got the first 2 bonuses on his first go.
Come on, Leo.
Yeah, he's trying to do that really dynamically, almost as a run. I'm pretty sure Julia's about to be timed out here on women's 3. So no success there.
No top yet.
Men, yeah, no top for her. That boulder, of course, it has been topped though by Maya Madeira. She got that on her second go. So in the men's and the women's competition, no one yet with 2 tops. Extremely tight, quite the contrast from this morning's semi-final. Yoshiyuki Ogata is out, Ida Kups is out. Poland comes from the city of Krakow, a lovely part of a lovely country. Yoshiyuki. This is the sort of move that we see a lot of Japanese athletes eating up. Let's have a look what he can do. Generating a bit of momentum for the swing, but not too much.
Easy.
Perfectly done. Yeah, got the momentum absolutely spot on. You don't want to carry too much. You've got to stop it quite quickly, and he measured it to perfection. This hole he's heading up for now with the right hand is terrible. As you can see, he pops straight off it. He knows he's got to hold it though. And
I think he's actually just above the good part of the hold as well there.
yeah, he has missed the sweet spot. There he finds it. Yeah, he drops down onto it.
Whoa.
And again, lunge for that top hold. You can get a toe hook on that to match with the right hand, and it makes life a lot easier. It's almost as if his instinct is to jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't far off as well. It's a reasonably good hole they're heading for. It's just a case of being accurate enough to find that sweet spot with the one closing, the extra volume closing it. So women's 3 just been topped once. Men's 3 also flashed once, but topped twice. Yoshiyuki heading out to the right. So he missed the sweet spot on this hold on the last go. Seems to get it
this try.
Yeah, got it this time. Will he try a toe hook? Will he try something to get a bit more out of his feet? No, he's going to jump again.
There we go.
And he will make it work.
That'll bump him back up into first place, the only person with 2 tops at the moment.
Yeah, that gives him a clean lead. He's not ahead on attempts or bonuses. He's ahead on tops. He's the first climber in either men's or women's competition with 2 tops, as you rightly say. Johanna Holfeld, interestingly enough, holding on to the lead from that flash from Boulder 1. It feels a long time ago. Can we see another top?
Clean split so far in the results. There's no ties, which is a really good job from the setting team.
It's such a tight round. Yeah, across both competitions, as you say, no ties. MC imploring the crowd. And it's still filling up the crowd area here in Innsbruck. I am impressed. The rain's still coming down. You can see it in the lights there on the right of the screen. We are promised better weather starting tomorrow afternoon. It won't be a minute too soon, I can assure you. So I just back up onto the big square volume on women's 3. 7th in the bouldering in Guangzhou last year. That was in Youth A, which is a category below this one. It's got 10 seconds to go. Will it be enough? It will not. When you're forced to rush those kind of moves, it makes it really difficult.
Yeah, a lot of girls really struggling to move off of that bonus hold. Maya seemed to do it pretty easily.
So there you see that flash, number 1 from Johanna Holfeld, still giving her the lead. And you see there in the men's, Yoshiyuki Ogata, clean lead for him. 2 tops requiring only 3 attempts. He got the bonus on the other boulder as well. Coming into tonight's final, he might have been many people's favourite to win. Slight confusion there from Claire as she arrived on the stage. Yannick Fleury, meanwhile, could join Yoshiyuki Ogata with 2 tops, but it won't be enough to take the lead. He'd be behind due to the number of attempts he'd required, but he'd be up into 2nd if he can top this boulder. It won't matter how many attempts he takes. The top will put him into 2nd. He's going from a long way for that jump move to the right.
Claire nearly at the bonus. There she goes.
Yeah, strong start from her, but She's quite tall.
She is, yeah.
Getting on top of this volume could be tricky. Mind you, it's proved tricky for just about everyone. I wonder if she's actually going to skip it out. She is.
She skips out that heel. Come on. That is a small space for Claire to fit into.
I think she's just... Whoa! Just going to
so
try
strong.
Just going to try and go straight through without using the volume. Now she uses it.
Get those knees involved.
The left knee's on. There's a right toe hook. She's making up as she goes along, and it's working a treat. The right hand lands. And now the left hand. Nicely done from Claire. You could see every move. She was just, as I say, making up as she went along, reacting to what was happening rather than sticking to a plan, and it worked a treat. She has a top.
It wasn't elegant, but it worked.
And that is enough to give her the lead. Takes the lead. She's got the bonus on every boulder so far, and that's why she has the lead. And that was her first attempt. It took a long time. She was on the wall. It felt like an age, but it was her first attempt.
She'll be happy with that.
She certainly will. Clean lead for her. There you see, top of your screen, Claire moves up into first place. Johanna Holfeld. Second, Maya Madeira. Third place as it stands.
Currently 2 podium positions for Team USA.
Yannick again, just not quite sticking that move, and that flash from Gianluca Posch looking more and more and more impressive as time goes by. He's got just over 50 seconds to get this done. He'll have time for plenty more attempts. You'd have thought at least a couple more. But if he's not successful with this one, he might run out of time if he does stick the jump to then do the top section. Pulls straight back on. Hasn't got the bonus yet, so could do with at least getting that if he wants to move up. Currently sitting in 5th place.
Not sure the bonus would make a difference to his score.
Let's have a look. No, due to the number of attempts, it wouldn't. So he heads back in empty-handed. Laura Stuckler and Meichi Narasaki will be the last climbers out. Temperature really dropping here in Innsbruck. You can see there, Laura currently without a top in 5th place. Meichi Narasaki got a really good top on men's 2, the only man to top that boulder, but unfortunately for him it took him 5 attempts to do so, and that's not enough to move him much up the order. He's currently sitting in 6th out of 7. So we saw Kai Leitner almost reaching across this gap. Meichi can't quite do that, but it's not too far for him. Surprised to see him drop it there.
Slightly different approach taken there. Trying to gain some momentum by swinging that other leg.
Laura, meanwhile, still without a top in this final.
Big move up there.
Yeah, really nicely done. More than 3 minutes left on the clock for her to find one here on women's 3. She's the last climber to attempt this boulder. Once she is done, we'll be on to boulder number 4. So Meichi lining it up again, and this time he gets it easily. It'd be interesting to see if we can speak to him later, because he'll be disappointed with that. Yeah, with the heel, and so he'll be disappointed needing more attempts than
Faces
one.
Out to the crowd.
Yeah, because once he found the method, he was cruising. Laura Stockler got a real fight on her hands here. It was amazing watching Claire top this boulder. You could see the cogs turning in her brain. Several different methods used within the space of about 10 seconds. But added together, they got the job done.
Claire and Maya both topping this block. Maybe it's suited to the more American style of climbing. The setters did describe the next boulder as American style, so we'll see how they get on this one.
Yeah, it's a good point you make. And Laura not successful that time. Plenty of time for another go though. Yeah, no, the climbing I've done in the States has involved a lot of undignified thrutching. So they seem to have a lot of that sort of climbing over there. Whatever it was, yeah, certainly worked for Team USA, this boulder. Could have more to do with my climbing style than the American climbing. Laura setting up again, 1 minute 10 left for her. And then we're on to the fourth and final boulder, and it's looking tight. Not much is certain at this stage. So Laura currently sitting in 5th place. Pretty sure because of the number of attempts that even if she tops this, she'll stay in 5th place. But she'll be in a lot better position than she would have been if she doesn't top.
Ooh. Come on. Starting to look a little bit tired now.
Yeah, and doesn't fancy another go. 30 seconds left, so that third boulder saw 2 tops. And as Jim rightly pointed out, from both the American climbers. And there you see it. Claire Burfine takes a clear lead here in Innsbruck. Johanna Holfeld follows her, and Maya Madeira in 3rd place. Yoshiyuki Ogata, meanwhile, he has 2 tops, as does Meiichi Narasaki, and Gianluca Posch, who flashed that last boulder, is currently in 3rd place, and he's currently out on the mats as well. So this last boulder, just before we walked up here to our commentary box, we saw Jorg Verhoeven testing this last move. It looks desperate.
Yeah, really hard to wrestle up that pinch.
The climbers
also quite a confusing start too. I think once you're into these volcanoes, it's a pretty big jump out to that bonus hold, and then just fighting to the top. Try not to stab your face on that blue volume.
Smooth as you like. Gianluca Posch, he
really
cruised
smooth.
boulder 3. He's cruising boulder 4 at this stage, but this top section here, as I say, so physical.
Home crowd really cheering him on here.
Yeah, home crowd absolutely loving this. Fighting his way up. It's like like a Spanish twofer on the sport route. Whoa. It's a good hold he's going for. Reaches up with the left hand.
Easy.
Yeah, just needs to match.
Nice.
Gianluca Posch, superbly done. We were just saying how desperate that last move looked. Well, you could have. Nobody told Gianluca Posch. And the other athletes will be aware of what's gone on there.
I believe that will secure him a podium place.
That will put him in 1st place. Yes, you're right.
Guaranteed a podium finish.
So the Austrians will be pretty happy with that as things go. Still half an hour or so left of this junior final here in Innsbruck, and they're guaranteed a medal. Baptiste Ometz could move up to 2nd place here.
This is the first woman we've seen on this female climb. Tricky jump to start into the horn and the gastrodon on the volume. Baptiste sticks the jump as well.
Yeah, that jump, I have to say, when you stood underneath it, it looks an awfully long way.
Yeah.
It doesn't look it when you're watching these climbers.
They're all making it look pretty easy.
It's a slightly different method here from Baptiste. Not kind of wrestling the twofer in the same way.
Oof. Just ejects out of there.
Yeah, that left foot came up underneath him, and it just seemed to push him off the wall, push him a bit too far out, and the twofer gets worse the further out from the wall you get. So top here would move him up into 3rd place.
Yes.
So now the best he can do now is 3rd place.
Whoa.
Oh my,
Really
so
close
to
to sticking that jump.
Yeah, really close. It's a really difficult move. You're launching off reasonably good holds, but it's an awfully long way. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, land with the left and then the right. That's the way to do it.
Left hand just ripped off as she swung back in there.
Interesting to see. The route setters were pretty busy. We didn't exactly have their undivided attention on the mats, but I wonder if it might be possible to land the left, land the right, and then simultaneously move the left, either switch it on the hole it's already on or move it over.
Or match it into the one on the underside of the volume, yeah.
Yeah, I think that might actually be the way to do it. You'd be pushing off the wall then, get a bit more out of the feet. I think Maya's having exactly the same thought process that we are up here. Looked like that's what she's trying to do. So she goes left, right.
Whoa, really close.
And again, tried to match with the left. Maybe if she could just get that done slightly quicker, she might have some joy then. Baptiste Omets.
Just saving himself there.
Yeah, he is.
Come on.
No point saving any juice now, though. This men's final almost done. And he touches the top, but doesn't quite secure it.
Would be a tough hole to jump to. That volcano's not an in-cut one. It's definitely sloping.
Casual as you like on the jump out. So Maya, she could become the first female climber with 2 tops if she can get this done. It's a very big if, but
nice.
She gets the jump done.
Just plants that right foot on there to cancel the swing.
Yeah, absolutely sorted that movement now. She's got 45 seconds left. This would put her into the lead. She'd be in first place with 2
Come
tops.
on, Maya.
Crowd loving this. Should go out with the left hand. There's 2 volumes there. There's the second one appearing in your shot. Physical moves. That's the last hole there. The next hole is the last one. Can she secure it? She goes up with the left hand.
There we go.
Surely the right will follow. It's not as easy as it looks, but she gets it done. Maya Madeira takes the lead here in Innsbruck. Junior World Championship final. Baptiste Omets, meanwhile, is not going to get that one done. It moves her up into first place. She is the first climber with 2 tops. They required 9 attempts to get them, though. Claire Berfheim will come out, as will Johanna Holfeldt and Julia Panzaliva, with quite a few attempts to spare. But there you see it. She takes the lead for now.
The women's still pretty open.
Yep, that does mean that Laura Stockler and Ida Cooks cannot win here this evening. You will need 2 tops to win. Maya Madeira's already got them, and all she can do is watch. So Johanna Holfeldt, she can win here.
As can Claire and Lulia.
Absolutely. So, very tight in both competitions. Kai Leitner, meanwhile, he can't win here this evening. He only has 1 top, and even if he flashes this boulder, he won't move ahead of Gianluca Posch, who has 2 tops, both of them on his first go.
No Yoshiyuki.
No, you're right, he can't move into second either, could move into third. Holds as well.
Waves to the crowd.
I would personally give Kai some sort of bonus score for that.
Style points.
Style points. Now it gets a bit more serious again, though. Slight change of pace and music from the DJ. I think Kai could probably have done with a bit more of the Euro pop, to be honest. Just needed to keep the energy up. He drops back down to the bonus hold. So now he goes back up to the 2 for like volume.
Match is in. Ooh. Pretty sure wants that with his right hand. Maybe not, let's see it.
Can he just push against it and go through the right? He can.
Nicely done.
Reach paying off for Kai Leitner, not to mention pure crim strength and power. That will move him up the order to 3rd place.
Let's see if he holds his position.
That's a great moment. Guy Leitner waves to the crowd, sticks his tongue out. Love this. Love his style. Yeah, so just to confirm, that was actually his first go, Kai Leitner. It felt like he was on the wall a long time, but it was his first attempt. So, Johanna Holfeldt currently sitting in 3rd place. It's a vulnerable 3rd place, so Yulia Panteleva could take it off her. And Johanna Holfeldt could win here. She'll be in 1st place if she tops this boulder. Assuming she hasn't used up 8 attempts already, which I'm pretty sure she hasn't. We were focusing on Kai. It's one of those moves that's easy to burn through the attempts. It's not taking a huge amount of energy.
No.
It's quite physical once you get there to stay on, but the actual jump itself not massively tiring, so the climbers can quite easily burn through attempts quickly here. She calls back on. As I said, currently sitting in 3rd place. She's not that close to the jump. By the time she gets to the hole, she's already on the way back down. Hard to see. We'll study more closely. We're hard to see where she could generate any more momentum. Yeah, interestingly, she's kind of sticking her left hip in as she goes for the jump, rather than dropping all the way back down. She's going from it's almost half cocked.
She's also trying to go both hands to that first horn.
Yeah, you can see it there.
She has a slight moment where she pauses and it kind of kills her momentum. And I think she needs to just go in one motion and carry that drive through the legs.
And yeah, it's the same again. It's that drop in the left knee, just killing the momentum.
It looks like she's trying to avoid banging her knee on the starting handhold, actually.
Yeah, maybe needs to be a little more Japanese about it. Just give it the beans, give it full throttle. So, Leo Avazu, he's out again. The trouser leg is down again. Yulia Panteleva is also out. She has a top already. She's currently sitting in 4th place.
Can she give it the Japanese beans?
Yes, can she give it the Japanese beans? She'd be in the lead if she could. Currently leading the way is Maya Madeira. She's got 2 tops, but they required 9 attempts. It took 7 goes to get that last boulder. So, attempts crucial. Yulia is on the wall. That's 1 attempt come and gone. Leo Avazu, meanwhile, still awaiting his first top. But he could move up the order here. Could certainly move to 6th. Can't do any better than 5th here. If he doesn't succeed on this, it's 6th or 7th for him on this attempt. Holds the swing this time.
Here he goes.
Here he goes onto the two-foot, gets the feet underneath him nicely.
Come on.
Quite jerky, almost rushed in its movements, but it seems to be working. Oof. It goes through
really quickly into that little undercut there.
Yeah, doesn't need to rush. Got 2 minutes 30 left. As I say, looks slightly jerky in his movement. Just needs a slight change of pace. Just slow it down slightly. Yulia, meanwhile, again, as we mentioned with Johanna Holfeldt, just perhaps burning through the attempts. She has quite a few to spare, but not unlimited attempts. And again, doesn't quite seem to be giving that the dynamism it maybe needs.
No.
There's not scope for a pause. There's not really scope for a reposition. You've just got to go full on from the bottom, the lowest position you can get to, really, and then just go full on. We can see it. Also, a bit like we saw with Johanna, is almost a correction on the left leg.
Yeah. Not quite getting to the back of that hold there.
Leo, the only male climber without a top in this final. It would be nice if everyone could finish with a top. He's got a minute and a half to do something about it. Yeah, just watch this here on Julia Pantelieva. You can see as she goes, trying a heel hook now. You can see trying to drop the left knee, but that left leg, it looks like she just corrects midway through the jump. Perhaps, as you say, to avoid banging a knee on that left-hand starting handhold. But any sort of loss of momentum midway through this move, yeah, you can see it's exactly the same method.
Not quite getting the height to get that left horn good enough. She's really on the bottom of it.
And she really is burning through the attempts now. We haven't been following it the entire time. We've been watching Leo Abazu at times, but she's using up an awful lot of attempts. We'll confirm how many it is when we find out. Currently sitting in 4th place. She's the lowest ranked of the climbers who have a top. So Leo, 25 seconds to get out of this evening's final with a top. It would not move him up. He will stay in 7th, but it'd be a really nice way for him to finish the final.
Whoa. That was...
And unfortunately, he won't get there. I don't think anyone would accuse him of lack of effort. So no top for either. Julia will stay in 4th place. Leo will stay in 7th. He wasn't far off a senior semi-final in Meiringen earlier this year, 25th. But he leaves the junior final without a top, 7th place. Gianluca Posch currently leading the way. What a story that would be. Gold for Austria.
At home crowd.
I suspect that would be quite well received.
Yeah.
So Yoshiyuki Ogata is back out.
Whoa. Really close to sticking.
Yeah,
that jump there.
Ida Cup, she doesn't have a top just yet. She could move up to 4th place, depending on number of attempts. Yoshiyuki Ogata, meanwhile, can put himself comfortably in the lead. He can become the first climber with 3 tops here. And he doesn't need to rush, he's straight back. A ball of energy. Brushing the holes, chalking up. Doesn't need to rush. Over 3 minutes left. He's already had a good look at that move. Regardless of attempts, a top here would give him the lead, but it wouldn't guarantee it.
There he goes.
There he goes. We'll focus on permutations in just a second. He's lining it up for the top. Yoshiyuki Ogata.
There he goes. Come on.
Men's 4. Oh, so
just
close.
Exploded out of there.
Just look at the permutations of the score. Let's just watch him again.
Left foot, just a little slip.
Depending on the number of attempts, he could put himself into an unassailable lead here.
Yeah.
Because he's used so many fewer attempts than
Meiichi
Narasaki, yeah, so he could potentially win himself the competition, but he needs to be careful on attempts. If he looks over to his right, there is a huge scoreboard there. He doesn't seem to be paying any attention to it. Certainly doesn't seem to be pondering the maths of it all right now.
I think he's got bigger priorities at the moment.
I think you're probably right. Interestingly enough, when we were on the mats, we kind of questioned whether you could do this move facing out. It's definitely not the method.
No.
But it's it definitely isn't completely obvious how you do this move when you first see it, although the climbers clearly figured it out themselves. No one's attempted it anyway other than this. So he sticks the swing. He's heading for the twofer. He chalks up Yoshiyuki Ogata.
Come on.
He's heading for the crimp. He could be heading for the top, and he could be heading for a gold medal here. Yoshiyuki Ogata, the left hand lands. Now the right. That's a top from him.
Nicely
he takes
done.
the lead here in Innsbruck.
He's happy with that.
He won the World Games back in July He takes the lead here in Innsbruck.
Ida Cup sticks the jump as well. Can she get up to this next bonus? Just trying to get her knee in there. Whoa.
Let's just have another look at that. Yoshiyuki Ogata, meanwhile, the official number of attempts have come through, and he is uncatchable in first place.
Secured the victory.
Yeah, it took him 4 attempts. He sneaks it. He's got 3 tops. They took him 7 attempts. Meiichi Narasaki could also claim 3 tops, but it will take him more than 7 attempts. So Yoshiyuki Ogata, your champion here in Innsbruck. And unfortunately, Ida leaves without a top. Laura Stockler currently in the same position, yet to attempt this one. So all eyes now on Claire Burfind when she comes out, because she can win here. She's got lots of attempts to spare.
Being slightly taller could help Claire with the jump. We'll be soon to find out.
Yeah, as long as she's halfway sensible with her attempts, a top will win her the competition here.
She's got 8 attempts.
Yeah, it's easy to burn through them on this. She needs to measure them slightly. Just compose herself between each attempt. What we've seen with a couple of climbers is they're just kind of running straight back onto the wall and going again, going again. If she just takes the time to chalk up and compose herself as she's doing,
Yannick,
I don't think attempts will be an issue.
Trying a slightly more static approach there, trying to reach through on the volume. Oh, sticks the jump, second go.
Yeah, just bangs her head. Not the most comfortable looking position for Claire. She won't mind a bit though.
Had the braid for protection.
Just trying to figure out how to get out from this position, but that's a good start to have nailed the jump. I'm pretty sure that was only a second go. I will keep an eye. Now she composes herself. Those 2 volumes, and then it's the top for Claire. She goes out with the left hand.
Stuck the next big move. Should be pretty straightforward to the top now.
Claire lining it up for the win here. She goes to the left hand.
Whoa.
Will the right hand follow? It's going to be close.
There we go.
She makes it work, and that is the win for her. I think she's probably had a look at the scoreboard and realizes exactly what that means. It's a gold medal.
She's happy with that.
So our winner's already decided here in Innsbruck, but positions below them still to be worked out. Superb from Claire. Got that second go. I was pretty sure it was the second go and we hadn't missed any. And there it was. The left hand went.
Trying really hard there.
Yeah, you could see the grimace.
Yannick still struggling with this jump.
So again
there
he goes.
We go.
Right hand sticks this time. Currently down in 6th place. Pretty sure he's used up too many attempts to get higher than 5th here. Could end up 6th, but he won't make the podium, unfortunately. Just too many attempts, regardless of whether he tops here. It would be nice for him to finish with a top.
Come on.
Crimping hard with that right hand. Gripping the volume with his feet.
Really strong on that undercut. Nicely done.
Really nice finish. We'll just let you know when the attempts come through.
Still raining pretty heavily here.
It is, yeah. I'm impressed at the number of hardy souls without umbrellas.
Yeah.
Make a fortune if you set up an umbrella stand here in Innsbruck right now. Tells you a lot about the temperature. Brushes and most of the crowd, and beanies and thick jackets. The climbers coming out in their hoodies. So, Meiichi Narasaki, you can take second here. He can make it a Japanese 1-2. He can't take the win. Too many attempts to count against him. Interestingly enough for Meichi, he can either finish 4th or 2nd. He actually can't end up in 3rd. 3 tops.
Whoa, goes double onto that.
Yeah, a top here. Doesn't matter about number of attempts. The top here secures him a silver medal.
Slightly rushing it.
Yeah, kicking himself there. Perhaps the adrenaline kicking in slightly. You've got a good view of the scoreboard from where they are there.
And Laura Stockler sticks that jump.
Yes, she does. No tops for her so far.
Trying to fit that knee in there. There we go. Can she get it back out?
Such an uncomfortable position. So much force going through that. The glutes and the hips holding that left leg in position. Now she frees it from out from under her.
Second, I believe this is her second try.
Makes it work with the left hand. Meichi Narasaki, meanwhile, makes the jump work. He's been here before, though. Just needs to keep his composure. There's a silver medal on offer here. Laura Stuckler, meanwhile, can she become the 3rd climber to top women's 4?
Meichi.
The volume increases. Meichi does his bit. Top for him. Oh, close, Laura.
Just falling on that top hold.
And unfortunately, that does rule out a medal for her. That secures the podium. Claire Burfine, she wins here. It's USA 1 and 2. Maya Madeira, 2nd place. 2 tops for her. And Johanna Holfeldt, that flash of number 1, we've been saying it for a while now, has been absolutely vital. It's secured her a bronze medal. Fairly certain this is Laura's 4th go, in which case, excuse me, she can't move up from her current position of 5th. She's got that jump dialed though. So the first half of this final here in Innsbruck, it was long and like a chess match, and suddenly the second half's just flown by. Laura Stuckler lining it up, 54 seconds to go. This would be a popular result if she was to get the top.
Let's see a top.
She'll go with the left hand, you would imagine. It looked like she might be thinking some different beater notes. She goes with the left hand and she follows with the right. Lovely finish here in Innsbruck. Top for Laura Stuckler. So we'll confirm the results as they come through. As I say, chess match in the first half of that final. Crazy second half. The top's coming thick and fast after a tense and tough first half. And there it is confirmed, USA 1 and 2, Claire Burfine and Maya Madeira taking the gold and silver medals respectively. Johanna Holfeldt takes bronze. Yulia Pantelieva just misses out, ditto Laura Stuckler. Ida Cup's rounding out that female top 6.
And in the guys, 1st and 2nd for Japan, with Yoshiyuki Ogata taking 1st place, Meichi Narasaki taking 2nd, followed by 3rd for Jan-Luca Posch, 4th for Kai Leitner, 5th for Yannick Floer, 6th for Baptiste Ometz, and Leo Avizu in 7th.
So it's USA 1 and 2 in the women's competition, Japan 1 and 2 in the men's. Superb final here this evening. Big thanks to Jim Pope for your company this evening.
No worries.
Do stay with us. We will be live streaming the podium ceremony, but that's all from us. We will see you tomorrow for the first of our speed climbing action and the Youth B Boulder final. Thank you for watching.
results are now published. So the results of the Juniors final are published on the official board. So, ladies and gentlemen, please get ready for the awarding ceremony. So again, come on back here on the venue for the awarding ceremony. Just a few more seconds and then we start with the awarding ceremony. So just stay. Ladies and gentlemen, the podium ceremony for the IFSC Youth World Championship Innsbruck 2017. Please welcome the medalists for bouldering juniors female. The medals will be presented by IFSC Tactical Delegate Christoph Bignon, accompanied by Dr. Ike Bocha, President of the Austrian climbing team, and Christoph Kaufmann, Vice Mayor of the city of Innsbruck. Now, a bronze medalist, representing Germany, Johanna Holberg. The silver medalist, representing the USA, Maya Manir. The gold medalist and 2017 Innsbruck IFSC Youth World Champion of bouldering in the juniors female category, representing the United States of America, Claire Bullfight. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America. The medalist for the bouldering juniors male. gold medalist and 2017 Innsbruck IFSC Youth World Champion of Bouldering in the Juniors main category. Representing Japan, Yoshiyuki Okata. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of Japan. Ladies and